Alrighty, friends, let's make this review and figure out what's going on. Mrs. Key. Here's the functions below. So we got an f function, which is a line, and a g function, which is a quadratic. I have some space here, so I'm going to find g of negative 1 up here. So that means put a negative 1 where I see x. Negative 1 squared is 1. 3 times negative 1 is negative 3. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. So now I just need to find f of negative 2. So that means 2 times negative 2, which is negative 4, minus 5, which is negative 9. For the next part, I got to do f times g of x. So that essentially means, so we need to multiply. Sorry, someone came in, had to pause. Here we go, we're multiplying. Now we have to distribute. So of course I like to pew, 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 pew. So 2x times x squared is 2x cubed. 2x times 3x is 6x squared. Negative 5 times x squared is negative 5x squared. I just like to line things up. And then negative 5 times 3x is negative 15x. Add those together, and we get 2x cubed plus x squared minus 15x, and we're done. Use the table. All right. So g of 2 is 1. So that's f of 1. And then I got to find f of 1. F of 1 is 0. And that's g minus f of negative 1. So I got to find g of negative 1 minus f of negative 1. G of negative 1 is 0. F of negative 1 is 2. 0 minus 2 is negative 2. Sketch the inverse. Just like I did on the other quiz, I like to make the y equals x line so I can see what's up. Now let's see. I have the point negative 3, 0, so that'll become the point 0, negative 3. I have the point 1, negative 2, so that'll become the point negative 2, 1. And those will kind of connect. That part looks relatively straight. Nope, silly. That part will curve and then go relatively straight, something like that. And then for the black part, I start there and I go to 3, 2, so that's 2, 3. So that's going to go something like that. And then I go, for the red part, I go to 6, negative 1, so that's negative 1, 6. Boop. So something like that. Find the inverse. So if I'm finding the inverse, I want to write y equals first. Negative 2x minus 2 minus 3. Then give it the old switcheroo for the x's and y's. Negative 2y minus 2 minus 3. I wanted to say plus 3 because I was thinking as the next step. Next step would be add 3. Negative 2x minus 1. That negative is freaking me out, so let's take care of that negative. Multiply by negative 1. And I accidentally changed that to a y, and that just blew up my brain, so let's go ahead and fix that. And my next step, it's going to be a multiply by y minus 2. I'm not going to distribute, though. So I have this deal going on. I guess I could have left the negative here with the 2 had I wanted to, but the one negative was freaking me out. I want to solve for y. So now I'm going to divide by the negative x minus 3. And then my last step is to add that 2. So get rid of that 2 and add that 2, and that is your answer. Ooh, sketch each of the following quadratic functions. Okay. So my vertex for this one, this is in vertex form. So my vertex is at 3, because that's what makes the parentheses 0, negative 3. And then I open up. So 3, negative 3, I'll put here, and I open up. And at 0, if I plug in 0 for x, that's 3 squared, which is 9, so 0, 6 is a point on there. 0, 6. So my curve is going to look something like that. Concavity is concave up. I said the y-intercept. I said the vertex. The line of symmetry is x equals 3, because that's through the vertex. And then the roots. So make f of x equal to 0. You have 0 equals x minus 3 squared minus 3. First thing I would do would be add 3. Take the square root, don't forget plus or minus. And then I'm going to have x minus 3 over there, so I'm just going to add the 3 right away, and that's my answer for that. With the second one, I'm going to make this bigger so I have plenty of space for stuff because I feel like I squished things in there. I'm going to start with the y-intercept because that's easy. Y-intercept is I plug in 0 for x. First two things go away, so I get 0, 6. If I take a negative 2 out, that's x squared plus 2x minus 3. Ooh, I can factor that. So if I factor that, I need things that multiply to negative 3x squared and add to 2x. So that's going to be 3 and negative 1. So x squared plus 3x minus 1x minus 3. And then I can factor out an x and a negative 1. And therefore I finish with x minus 1, x plus 3. So my roots, or my x-intercepts, or my zeros, are 1, 0, and negative 3, 0. My vertex, therefore, is halfway in between those two. So my vertex is at negative 1, and let's figure out the y value, shall we? If I plug in negative 1 squared is just 1, minus 4 times negative 1, so plus 4, plus 6. So that's going to be 10 minus 2, which is 8. So 1, 8. That negative means we're concave down. And my axis of symmetry is x equals negative 1. Let's sketch that. So I have vertex is at, where was the vertex? Negative 1, 8. So that's up here somewheres. And then it's going to go through 1, 0 and negative 3, 0. And it's going to look something like that. And then the last one. Let's zoom in again because I think that worked better in terms of spacing. This one's in intercept form. So the x-intercept, or the roots, or the zeros, are going to be negative 1, 0, because that's what makes the first set of parentheses 0, and negative 3, 0. The vertex is halfway in between those, so that's at negative 2. If I plug in negative 2 minus 1 is negative 1. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1. Negative 3 times negative 1 times 1 is 3. The y-intercept is when x is 0, so that's going to be negative 3 times 1 times 3, because 0 plus 1 is 1. 0 plus 3 is 3. 3 times 3 is 9. So the y-intercept is negative 9, sorry. And then the axis of symmetry is x equals negative 2. And we are concave down again. So let's plot those. Negative 1, negative 3. That was the same one there. So negative 1, negative 3. Vertex is a little bit up from there. So we're going to go like that is essentially what that one looks like. Solve the equation below using a method of your choice. Okay? I guess my go-to in this case is going to be to try factoring. So I'm going to have 2x squared minus 5x minus 12, and that equals 0. So I got to multiply the 2x and the negative 12. 2x times negative 12 is negative 24x squared. So I need to multiply to that. And the middle term is negative 5x. So I need terms that multiply to negative 24x squared and add to negative 5x. I'm feeling 8 and 3, but 8 has to be negative. So 2x squared minus 8x plus 3x minus 12. I can take a 2x out of those first ones, and I'm left with x minus 4. And I can take a 3, and I'm left with x minus 4. So that means I'm going to have a 2x plus 3 and an x minus 4. And therefore my answers are negative 3/2 and positive 4. You can plug those back in. I guess I'll try factoring again. If it works, I'll do another method just in case. But let's try. 90x squared is what we want to multiply to. And we want to add to negative 21x. Add. Well, 90, I've got 1 and 90, 2 and 45, 3 and 30, 4 and 15, 5 and 18, 6, yes, so 6, 1 and 30, so 15. Wait, so it's not 4 and 15. What did I messed that up. 4 times 15 is 60. So 4 and 20, that's 22 and a half. That doesn't work. Wait, 6 and 15, that gets me 21. So if I make both those negative, then it will work. So I'm going to factor this, and then I'm going to go back, and I'm going to do that first one by completing the square. So minus 6x minus 15x plus 10. I can take a 3x out of those. So I'm left with 3x minus 2. And I want a 3x minus 2 here. So if I put a negative 5 there, that will work. Because that's negative 15 plus 10. So I'll have 3x minus 5 and 3x minus 2. And I'll get 5/3 and 2/3. Alright, I'm going to go back to this one and do completing the square. So the original problem said 2x squared minus 5x equals 12. Is that right? Let's zoom up. Yes. So in order to complete the square, I would like a 1 in front. X squared minus 5/2 x equals 6. I'm going to want to do x minus 5/4 squared. To make that happen, I need to add 25/16 here and 25/16 here. And you guys are like, this is terrible. I hate it. It's okay. Keep breathing. So 6 times 16 is 60 and 30 is 96. So that's 96/16 and 25/16. 96 and 25 is 121/16. Take the square root of both sides. You'll have x minus 5/4 equals square root of 121 is 11. Square root of 16 is 4. Don't forget your plus or minus. Add 5/4 to both sides. I would have factored this, by the way. 5 plus 11 is 16 over 4 is 4. 5 minus 11 is negative 6 over 4. Negative 6 over 4 is also known as negative 3 over 2. Did I get the same? Oh, I got the same answers. It's like magic. Okay, I'm done.